What is going on, everyone? And welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show where we bring together some of the best content creators from the blockchain NFT gaming community, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. But before we jump into things, I actually want to give a huge shout out to Illuvium, our sponsor here at Around the Metaverse. But Illuvium is an open world NFT creature collector and auto battler that's undeniably one of the leading games in Web3 right now. And actually, we put together some of the best moments from that footage to take a look at with you folks right now. Let's take a look.
Yup.
We're going to be talking about some crazy stuff tonight. The FTC stops Microsoft's metaverse monopoly. Microsoft was recently blocked from acquiring that company, which had been a deal that had been in the works for quite some time now. And the FTC is voting to sue them and stop that from going through until at least this lawsuit is litigated. And, you know, typically we know how lawsuits go with big government players like that. It doesn't turn out well for the most part. But I want to know why the FTC is sticking their nose in this, and if you guys think Microsoft actually has a monopoly or not.
Whether they stop this acquisition or not, Activision Blizzard needs to be acquired by someone. It is a distressed asset. Someone else will end up acquiring Activision Blizzard along the way because it's necessary, in my opinion, for them to be acquired and then take the good bits that are left at Activision Blizzard, which are their incredible intellectual properties of Call of Duty and all the intellectual properties I mentioned a moment ago that Blizzard's operated. And they need competent leadership. The good case scenario here would be some company comes along and they kind of pull a Disney here. They buy the intellectual properties and then they treat them well and they build out a lot of content around them and they invest in them a lot. You get shows, you get games, you get lots of additional experiences, etc., along with these intellectual properties, and it's a good thing. Okay, the bad scenario is the intellectual properties get purchased and then they just monetize it in even more disgusting ways than you ever saw before because the executives want to turn a quick profit on a major acquisition. Okay, so then those are the two scenarios I see. So you have to ask yourself, is this actually going to create a monopoly if they acquire them? Let's take a look at the top companies in gaming, shall we? Who's number one? Any guesses on the show, audience?
Sony. Yeah.
Nintendo.
Erica?
Sony.
You got a guess, Erica?
I don't know. I'll go with Sony as well. I'm not really sure.
Those were great guesses, but number one was actually Tencent. So Tencent, yeah.
Okay.
Tencent.
Well, okay. I thought we were talking consoles here. Yeah. Clearly, if you talk about all gaming, yeah.
What?
Yeah, when you're talking about a monopoly on the gaming industry, you have to look at the top players. And Tencent, at the moment, basically, they have more than double the revenue of the number two player in the space, which is Sony. Mm-hmm. Sony and Apple and Microsoft and NetEase all have about the same revenue. And way down the list at number 9 is Activision Blizzard. You get Microsoft plus Activision Blizzard, you put them together, it is going to be about as big as Sony. So the case that it's preventing a monopoly is preposterous, in my opinion.
It is.
Well, first of all, let me back up a little bit here, because when I researched this, I went down a rabbit hole. So let me give you guys first a little background on the government side before I answer your question, because it's this whole case is going to be an experimental case, and this is not the first time that the FTC is putting their nose to challenge a bunch of deals. Recently, under the anti-competitive and antitrust laws, they've been doing this to a bunch of companies, if you didn't know. The Biden administration actually lost 3 of these cases just in the past 3 months, similar to Sony. One of them the first one was with a biotech company called Illumina and their acquisition of, I think it was, Grail Inc. The judge sided with Illumina on that. The next one was United Healthcare but they were acquiring another company. The judge sided with United on that. And then there was a third case. In all of those cases, the judge said the FTC and the DOJ's argument had no merit. But you can't say that this is not going to be a setback on innovation. And I think that's what's happening with Sony here too. And in fact, the CEO wrote a letter to the employees saying, I want to reinforce that this deal is going to be closed. I don't think there's going to be one metaverse. I mean, there's going to be many digital environments. I think any company could have offer a digital environment. And I really have to lean on what Andrew was saying. I think this is not going to stick. It's an open canvas for anyone to take this opportunity. And I don't think this is going to stick with FTC and Sony. So if that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, kind of what Andrew was saying in the beginning of our conversation, one of the things that somebody could do is make a console, right? A console, I think, that is Web3 integrated and blockchain technology friendly. I think that if they did something like that, then they would really have the upper hand. And that would be extremely innovative. If it was like a Web3 console with blockchain technology in it, and then all of these games would be able to have somewhere to go, because right now, like the way that I feel about blockchain gaming is it's pretty much on your computer. Yes, there are a few mobile games, but we really don't have something for, people who really prefer to play it on a console versus their computer. So that could really give them an upper hand. But I don't know if they're going to go that route or not. I would love to see somebody do it at least. Otherwise, I have no idea what the hell they're going to do in order to what their plans are for the future.
I mean, I'm just going to drop. So what it comes down to, man, is, a couple of things. So when it comes to the actual lawsuit here with Microsoft and, their block of Activision merger, as Andrew said, someone needs to buy this company. Someone needs to buy the damn company. Activision Blizzard is not a direct competitor to Microsoft. It's so weird that FTC would even try and block something like this. When you talk about, well, what is the motivation? It's, because then you'd have too much power in the world of gaming. It's not like, Sony is trying to buy Microsoft. I could see that being blocked because that would be a huge thing. You know what I'm saying? But this it doesn't fall in line with the way that the way the regulations are actually written. So I think this is a slam dunk for Microsoft. I think that they're going to go to court. I think the exact same thing is going to happen. It's going to result in the judge ruling in favor for Microsoft. Activision Blizzard will be acquired by Microsoft, and they will be able to take their great IP, like Andrew said, and make it continue here and make it great for the foreseeable future. They're going to Donald Trump that shit, and they're going to make it all great again.
They're going to make it great again. Please make Blizzard great again.
Yeah, and it can happen, man. I mean, Blizzard and Activision, these are two pillars of gaming, man. I mean, when you talk about online games in particular, Blizzard was a huge pioneer in that direction.
Warcraft, baby.
So I think that there's so much there, and it's a company that cannot fail. We cannot let Blizzard and Activision fail. It needs to go to a Microsoft. It cannot just fall into oblivion.
But we're running out of time tonight, folks. I want to thank you guys for joining us. If you're out there still watching, don't forget to smash that like. This is it for Around the Metaverse this year. Not going to be a show for the next couple of weeks. Hope y'all have a great holiday. Spend some time with the fam. Celebrate however you celebrate for whatever it is you're celebrating. It's always some kind of day in the metaverse. But that is all. That is all we have for tonight, folks. This has been Around the Metaverse. We out.
Bye.